So Scott Steiner pins Test 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And he manages to win the managerial services of Stacy. Now there's two highlights of this to me. One is Stacy, getting in and out of the ring after the match. I think Stacy right here is in 2003 is the fucking definition of Roll Tide. Is she not?
Good God. Beautiful. Just legs up to her neck. Yeah. I don't even know what Roll Tide means, but fucking A, she was Roll Tide.
You know, I wonder if we could get like special Roll Tide packaging on some BlueChew situations at BlueChew.com. Use that promo code Wrestle. I think that would go hand in hand, would it not?
Yeah, especially when you get your first order free and only $5.
You need to stop that. They're never going to order from us. They're never going to order ads with us again if you keep giving shit away.
It's free.
No,
BlueChew.com. And then you put in promo code Wrestle, and all you got to do is pay $5 shipping, and the shit's free.
It'll be like when you were 15 and your hard-ons were free.
Right? Yes.
So, here's the highlight of this whole thing. And first of all, let me just say, I love Scott Steiner, AKA Ham Cubes. I'm going to refer to him as Ham Cubes for the rest of the show. If you're out of the loop on that, go listen to What Happened When with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, because nobody else does.
Well, that's actually not true.
Well, hey, I'm sorry. I got a sidebar here. I didn't even share this with you. So I was at MLW Wrestling last week.
Hey, you know, MLW is available on Friday nights on BN Sports every Friday night, right?
Yeah, at 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central.
And BN Sports is even on DirecTV. I watch every single week, and you should too. It's BN Sports, Major League Wrestling. Tony Schiavone on commentary. Bruce Prichard produces the segments. What could go wrong?
MLW. Yeah, well, while I'm there, I get a text message from Debbie. You know who Debbie is?
No.
Well, you know her as Medusa or Lunder Blaze.
Gotcha.
I call her Debbie. And she was professing her love for me and not Tony Schiavone.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to tell Tony this.
I already did. I showed him the text.
Why would you do that? He's heartbroken.
He was heartbroken, and I thought it was funny.
Man, you're a dick.
I'm cruel. I know.
Speaking of dicks,
free. Speaking of dicks, what are we doing with our life?
I know we're actually getting paid for this, but probably not for much longer if you keep giving stuff away for free, you know, over at BlueChew.com. Promo code Wrestle. Jinx. So my favorite thing about this match with Ham Cubes is, you know, he has an issue with Test jerking Stacy off of the apron. She's trying to get into the ring and Steiner's holding the ropes up for her. He wants to have a little show and Test is having no part of it. And he snatches her down. So Steiner decides, fuck this, I'm going for him. So he gets on the apron and goes to dive off and just falls flat on his fucking face. Now you won't see this on the network because you guys have changed the camera angle. If you have the original pay-per-view version, you see splat, Steinerized, but on the pay-per-view version, they shoot from like where the announce team is, like on the opposite side of the ring. And you just see,
see it,
but not nearly like the original version.
Yeah. But it's out there. I mean, it's definitely out there on YouTube or something because I've seen it recently.
It's a shame because, you know, Scott Steiner was such a badass in WCW, but this is just another thing on the list of shit that is going bad for him in the WWE. Is it not?
Yeah. And again, it just wasn't working here. And this was another one. Who's the guy that says dud? This was a dud. I just said it, didn't I?
You did. It wasn't a dud. It actually got 3/4 of a star in the torch. And Wade would write in here, quote, Test hit himself in the head with a chair. Although it was the intended finish in that case. I mean, cause I guess you do need to clarify. Let's talk about the next match. Booker T and Christian go to a DQ. Quote, the finish of this one was a big talking point afterwards. Christian T's getting intentionally counted out to save his title. And the ref, changing a rule on the fly, announced over the house mic that he'd give Booker T the title on a count out. And that caused Christian to run back into the ring, but then immediately hit Booker to get intentionally DQ'd. The ref, who'd already changed one rule, could have just restarted the match or awarded Booker the belt, but he did neither. Christian saving the belt in a cheap fashion fits his gimmick, but it's contradictory booking of this finish that made a joke out of everything. The match itself was also very disappointing. The 8 minutes it lasted seemed like merely half of a decent match, and the bad finish took it down another notch. 1.25 stars. He didn't love it, but I thought this really got Christian over as a shit heel. Did it not?
I thought that the match was excellent. The finish sucked. I agree with you on the finish. The finish was just totally illogical. But the match itself, getting there, I thought was excellent. And it got Christian over as a heel and just displayed why Booker is as good as Booker is.
I was a big fan of, running back in and cheating to win. I mean, I know it makes no sense. You could change a rule on the fly. I get that. But the idea of, I'm going to lose the belt if I'm counted out. Okay, cool. I'm DQ'd.
Disqualified. Yeah, it was a dick move.
It was awesome. It was fun. Next up, we've got Jerry Lawler, who introduces Steve Austin and Eric Bischoff in the ring for the pie eating contest. I guess we should say that they set this up on the pay-per-view with a backstage skit where they sort of explained what pie eating was, and so Bischoff is sort of freestyling, it's chocolate, it's apple, it's blueberry, it's cherry, it's whatever. And Austin clarifies and says, no, have you not heard The Rock out here talking? It's poontang pie. And I just can't believe that made air, but it did. And as if that wasn't enough, they show another skit where we meet 4 women and they're debating, quote unquote, who gets to go first. I just can't believe this is real. And they both sort of debate why they should get to go first. And in the end, Austin says that Bischoff is being selfish, but he can go first, but he gets to pick the one, and Bischoff agrees. So when they're announced here to the crowd, Austin reminds Bischoff that the deal was Bischoff gets to go first, but Austin gets to pick who. And so Bischoff agrees, thinking it's one of the 4 beauties backstage, but instead Austin picks Mae Young. And he does this by saying, Bischoff had said he preferred mature women. And of course, Bischoff plays it off. And then eventually he kisses Mae Young and says, okay, your turn, Austin. Austin says, dude, you kissed her. That's not what this is. This is a pie eating contest. So then Mae Young low blows Bischoff and then does a Bronco Buster in the corner. And allegedly, and this is rumor and innuendo, Mae put sardines in her underwear that day as a rib on Eric Bischoff. Of course, Austin then forfeits his turn and gives Mae Young a stunner. The crowd did not pop for that. We're just beating up elderly ladies at this point, and he's a babyface. But we're officially tied because, this is round 2 after the burping contest. What'd you think of this pie eating contest and Mae Young?
Okay, well, first of all, I was watching this pay-per-view in my home on the network by myself. So I was home with all my friends. And my wife comes home right as this was taking place. And Mae takes off her skirt. And my wife looks at me and says, did you write this shit? I'm like, well, I produced it. So yeah, but you got to admit, Conrad, Mae had a nice ass.
What the fuck are you saying out loud right now?
She had a nice ass in there, man. And she wasn't afraid to show it. But this is another one where sometimes Vince's haha just affects shit. It can go, I don't want to say too far, but it was like, fuck me, man. We're trying to do a pay-per-view and I'm trying to get shit done. And I'm looking for Mae and I'm trying to get Mae up to the gorilla position. And Moolah looks at me and she says, honey, she's not ready yet. She's still stuffing fish down her panties. Oh my, all right. Cool. We'll wait. because she wasn't done stuffing the fish down her panties. And Vince just thought it would be hilarious if May rubbed her crotch with raw fish in her panties. And if you look closely enough, when you go back and you watch this, you can actually see the fish, because May's panties are they're little sheer, and you can actually see, and you can like see the little fish eyes and everything kind of bugging back at you. At least I hope that was fish eyes.
Oh God. Help me understand. Vince McMahon is the one who asked Mae Young to put fish in her undergarments.
He thought it was hilarious.
Well, help me understand what that sounds like and how he pushes that.
God damn it. May, I got one for you. When you go out there, first of all, you're going to make out with Bischoff. Which one's Bischoff? The one with the hair over there. I want you to stick your tongue down his throat.
Oh, my.
You got it, baby. Oh, no. It sounded like Jimmy Hart all of a sudden. You got it, baby. I'll stick my... No, anyway. And Jamie Noble. I'll stick that tongue down his throat, baby. If only Jamie was there to produce this shit. So, and he says, then I'm thinking you get him in the corner and you hit him and a little low blow there and give him, the Bronco Buster. But I'd like you to stuff a bunch of raw fish down in there. Just rub it in his face. It's a little ha-ha. She loved it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, like I said, you can actually see, if you can look, go back and look with that in mind, and you can see the fish in there swimming around. And you will have to admit later, Conrad, she had a pretty damn good ass for an 80-year-old woman.